The Caratasca Lagoon, Honduras's gateway to the Caribbean, a UN-protected biosphere and the home of indigenous Miskitu communities like this one. But it's also the new ground zero in the U.S. war on drugs, and increasingly a base for the U.S. military, turning the sparsely populated Miskitu coast into a violent place. For the Miskitu community of Ahuas and the surrounding area, the Rio Patuca is a lifeline and a highway. In fact, everything that arrives here arrives by boat, from cars to building supplies to food and medicine, which is why people here say it's not uncommon for boats to arrive day and night to load and unload passengers and cargo. The boat that came down on May 11th wasn't unusual, but what happened next and the 4 people who were killed certainly were. Soldiers opened fire on their boat from U.S. government helicopters while pursuing alleged drug traffickers.
Fijos, pues, seguido así. 3 veces, oí. Y ahí ellos salieron, me vinieron sacando de aquí, me quedé aquí. De aquí se quedaron aquí un rato y de ahí me llevaban hacia... Ahí vino un helicóptero, andaba por arriba y...
Within seconds, 4 people, including 2 pregnant women, a child and a young father, were dead. Clara Woods lost her son.
Pobre, eso es un bebé de 14 años, ¿qué va a embrujar en eso? Él no sabe nada de nada, cosa maldad, él está con Dios ahora. Y mi prima tiene bebé tierno, ¿qué va a estar con los narcos?
Until now, many communities here, closer to Nicaragua than to their own capital, have taken care of themselves, relying little on the government for healthcare, education, or policing.
Todas las personas involucradas en actividades de narcotráfico son gente que puede tener mucho dinero, supongo. En la Mosquitia no, la gente totalmente son pobres. Es probable que algunos que se involucren, probable que usted, digamos, ejemplo, usted se dedica en esa actividad, pero usted le dijo que vaya a traer un balde de agua y usted fue a traer un balde de agua y le dio $1. Usted no negaría porque está fuerza de trabajo. Usted le trabajó sin importar de dónde saca el dinero, qué es. A usted le importa es $1 para comprar una libra de arroz para vivir.
The U.S. conducts anti-drug trafficking operations from a military base at the mouth of the lagoon, saying it is there to intercept speedboats loaded with drugs on their way to markets in the north.
Aquí en el sector existe lo que es la base naval de Caratasca. Ellos están trabajando casi en forma permanente con la Fuerza Naval Norteamericana en el espacio marítimo y llevan a cabo operaciones, llevan a cabo ejercicios.
It's one of 3 forward operating bases the U.S. has constructed in La Mosquitia since the 2009 military coup.
Constructed in a number of places, but especially in the north along the Atlantic coast, especially in the Miskitu, in areas that have become the center of growing conflicts, growing drug trafficking, and growing interest from business interests as well.
But even before the killings in Ahuas, the military presence had clashed with Miskitu's ability to fish and live in the lagoon. Danny Williams' son was run over by a Honduran warship while he was fishing.
Ese era mi brazo mano, el derecho.
The army promised to help pay for his son's burial, but it never did.
No pude hacer porque ellos son grandes y entonces yo no pude hacerlo más porque ya habían dicho de que me ayudó.
Long known as the Banana Republic, Honduras today is the 2nd poorest country in the hemisphere. 65% of the population lives in poverty, but that might be about to change.
The 2009 WikiLeaks cable from the U.S. Embassy in Tegucigalpa talked about a large-scale project, unprecedented project for La Mosquitia, a public-private partnership that the United States military was really leading, but in coalition with a range of other U.S. government agencies for La Mosquitia to bring together public, meaning U.S. government and Honduran government, and private entities, mostly for-profit companies, General Electric, a large real estate development firm.
Just what that development might look like is unclear. but many say it is part of a broader conflict over resources.
The drug war in Honduras, the areas that are in conflict in the drug war, exactly coincide with areas where there's a lot of interest in natural resources, whether that be petroleum, mining interests, rivers for hydroelectric dams, land for African palm or sugarcane plantations, which are both used for biofuels. That's what the conflicts are about. Security forces in Honduras and in other parts of Central America, like Guatemala, under the framework of the drug war, are being used to displace communities, to separate them from land rights, and gain access to natural resources, land, rivers, petroleum, forests, and the U.S. assistance in the drug war is helping to facilitate that.
Human rights groups say militarization is already forcing indigenous communities off of their lands.
Si nos están matando, ¿qué es lo que nos interesa? Salvar las vidas, y entonces lógicamente hacen el desalojo casi voluntariamente, porque tienen que poner a salvo su vida. Por eso esas operaciones tan fuertes que han traído resultados trágicos ya en el lugar.
In response to the growing violence, Miskitu leaders have organized assemblies like this one. Representatives from 43 communities across the lagoon traveled for days to come here. They are demanding that military and business interests meet with them first.
Yo creo que ya es tiempo, el pueblo Miskitu de levantar. Tiene que negociar con nosotros. El gobierno norteamericano tiene que negociar con nosotros.
But to the Miskitu here, there's more at stake than their heritage.
Que si sacamos todo hoy ya no va a haber nada para los hijos, ¿no? Y como nosotros decimos, esto no es cuestión de dinero, esto es cuestión de sobrevivencia.
Reporting from Puerto Lempiras, Honduras for the Real News Network, I'm Kaylin Ford.